If you've ever found yourself spiraling down a late night rabbit hole of what am I meant to do and why haven't I found it yet? And let's be honest, who hasn't? Then you're in the right place. I'm Theresa White, career clarity expert and 5-time certified career coach, and I'm here to help you navigate the question of how to find a career that truly lights you up. On Career Clarity Unlocked, we're all about those light bulb moments. I'm talking to people who are still trying to figure out what they're meant to do, coaching them live to reach that magical, yes, this is it moment. And we'll also hear from those who've already found their dream careers and figure out exactly how they did it. Whether you're looking for inspiration or actionable advice on finding a career you love, I've got you covered. Time to unlock some career clarity. Let's dive in. Welcome back to Career Clarity Unlocked. Today we're diving into a story that's anything but a straight line. And honestly, that's exactly what makes it so magical. If you've ever felt like your career didn't follow that perfect plan, and truly it doesn't for most of us, this episode is going to feel like a big warm hug. We're talking about the beauty of unexpected pivots, following your passions even when it feels scary, and how your wildest detours can actually lead you exactly to where you are meant to be. And today's episode is truly extra special because I'm joined by someone who's been a really big part of my life for the past 16 years. And that is my very good friend, Alica. And honestly, it is such an honor to share her amazing story with all of you today. Alica and I met way back in 2009 when I had just moved from Germany to Hawaii to start my graduate degree in global leadership at HPU, Hawaii Pacific University. And in the first few weeks, our university had like this fair with all the student clubs, and Alica was there as the vice president of the German club. And that's how it all began. We started talking, we ended up going to a party, and the rest is history. And we've been through so much together over these last 16 years. We both Germans living in Hawaii, chasing our dreams, figuring out our careers, navigating love, navigating marriage, and now motherhood. It's been a wild and beautiful ride, and I'm so thankful for Alica's friendship. And I can't wait for you to hear the incredible insight, heart, and humor she brings to today's conversation. So grab your coffee or a cup of tea like me, get comfy, and let's dive into one of the most heartfelt and inspiring journeys yet.
Yeah.
Welcome, Alica, to Career Clarity Unlocked. I am so excited to have one of my longest and best friends here on the show. And I am so excited to share your very unique and special journey with the audience. So welcome to Career Clarity Unlocked.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
I want to start in the beginning and for our audience share about the twists and turns of your professional journey. I know for you it hasn't been a straight line, how it's for most people. Would you mind sharing what were some of your biggest moments that shaped where you are today?
Yes, absolutely. You are right. It's definitely not a straight line, and I don't think it ever will be, especially now that I actually realized I don't want a straight line. That's just not who I am. But of course, there was a time where I thought that's just kind of what everybody does. I should have a straight line. You know, you should go to school and do what you learn and then just get promotions, but that's just not how it was for me. But so I don't really know how far back I should go, but basically, just like you, I was born and raised in Germany. I moved to Hawaii. That's how we met. And I got a degree in travel industry management. So, but I also always worked with children. So it was actually a big deal when everyone in Hawaii heard that Aulani, the Disney resort, was coming to Hawaii. And so a lot of people were like, oh, this is perfect for you. You know, it's in the travel industry management field, but also there's a job with children. How about you go for it? So that's how I started. I worked for Aulani. I got hired. I was part of the opening team, which was really nice. But then I heard about another job within Disney, which is called Adventures by Disney, and it's a tour guiding job. So back when I was still in Germany, I had a few areas that I thought I could see myself working in. One was like fitness, one was animals, and one was travel. But I always thought like, okay, travel, who actually gets to work in travel when you get like a travel degree? Like what kind of jobs are there that allow you to travel? And it never crossed my mind that I could be a tour guide. But so when that came up, I applied and it was extremely hard. A lot of applicants. I had to fly to California. So it was the most expensive interview I have ever been on, since I had to, pay for a flight, pay for a hotel. That was my first time also going to Disneyland because, I was already there. So why not go? So I get the job and it's my dream. I'm sure we'll talk more about that specific job. But yeah, then big jump forward. I then was pregnant. So I have a 1-year-old now, and she is the love of my life. But because of her, no, I don't want to say because of her. It's not because of her, but just because of the situation, I am unfortunately not able to return to my guiding job. So when I was pregnant, and back then when I was pregnant, and even in my first year with her, I still thought I could return to my job. It's actually very recent that I found out I cannot return. It's a long story and maybe not interesting for this podcast, but I'm pretty heartbroken. We just had different expectations and it's just not going to work out. So anyway, when I was pregnant, I then started working, or I applied to be a wedding officiant. So, and then the first few months of my daughter's existence, basically, I started doing some weddings, which I really enjoy. And I just realized I completely forgot a big part, which is COVID. Obviously, yes. COVID affected everyone in some way. And I just saw it's been 5 years, like a few days ago, 5 years ago, COVID started.
Oh my God. I totally remember when we were in the coffee shop in 𝐀𝐥𝐢𝐜𝐚. I think that was the last time we saw each other in person. You told me that you're going to China for a tour guiding summer. And that was the last time we saw each other before the shutdown happened.
Yes, because then I actually still went to Australia. I still had a tour in Australia. And then during that trip, everything shut down and my tour got interrupted and canceled halfway through. And then I had to fly back home from Australia. So, and then I know we didn't see each other for a while because then COVID was already there.
Yeah.
Yeah. But so yeah, COVID, I completely forgot about that part. So during COVID, just like a lot of people, you just kind of go inward. You try to figure out what you want to do with your life, what else you can do. You want to grow, you want to improve. So I became a life coach. I got certified as a life coach. I know a lot of people say COVID was really hard, and it was, but for me, honestly, I think that shaped a lot of who I am now too. I've always considered myself a somewhat healthy person, but definitely during COVID and getting the certification made me even healthier and made me really realize that I need to take care of myself, not just physically, but also mentally, emotionally. And so with the certification, I learned a lot of tools of how to deal with stress and anxiety and just have mindset shifts. And I don't know. I feel like the two biggest things that shaped me really was my job as a tour guide, because this was truly my passion. Absolutely loved it. It was just for me the best job. And then again, the coaching, where I feel like a lot of times when we become coaches, it's something that helps you first before you can help others.
Yes, 100%. Yes, I agree with that.
Yeah. Yes. So the coaching, unfortunately, I have to say, I don't want to use the word fail, but in a way, I feel like I failed because I am not really doing it anymore. But the reason why I say not really is because I'm still open to coaching. Like, I love coaching. I just hate everything around it. I'm not good with marketing. And we talk about it all the time. Like, you do such a great job, and I think you enjoy it, whereas I don't. And I've just realized that I'm not willing to put 80-90% into something I don't like just so that I can do 10% of what I like, which is the coaching. So, and that's why I always say I'm still a coach. I still can help you. I do still have my tools. I have my certification, but I'm not willing to go through that stress of promoting myself and finding clients or not finding clients. So that part just was never for me, but I never regretted getting certified because, like I said, it really has shaped who I am right now.
Yeah, and I can see that in you so much. I mean, yes, as you said, you were always passionate about fitness and health, but you are such an incredibly healthy person now, and how passionate you are about it. So I think it has just been such a positive shift for you.
Yeah, no, definitely. And then so just to continue after that, I felt like, okay, I do want to be my own boss. If I can't be a coach, what else can I do? I got married and then had this idea of renting out wedding decor. So I kept all my wedding decor stuff for my wedding. And I have actually, without really promoting anything, somewhat successfully been able to rent out wedding decor. And to be completely honest, I think I probably could be successful, but my heart is just not in it. I'm just not in it. What I'm lacking in that job is the connection with the people. There's usually just a quick email, hey, can I rent this? You know, this is when my wedding is. I meet them for 3 seconds to drop off. And it's part of me is sad about it because I do think I could really make it a business, but I'm just not into it. So I can't do it. And that is a big part of my personality. If I'm not fully feeling it, I just can't do it.
Yeah. And that's what I love about you is that you're so passion driven, or you follow your heart so deeply, and you do really what lights you up, and not just anything. It has to really be aligned.
And I appreciate that, but I have moments where I'm like, why am I like this? Why can't I just, do this or that or make this successful? Like it's a little bit annoying sometimes. Yeah, or I get so excited and then, a week or two later, I'm like, no, I'm not anymore. This is not for me. So, but then I know if I continue to stay excited, then I know like this is for me. So I really do need to listen to that. But then so through the coaching, what came from that is I met through a mastermind class, who is now a really good friend. She lives in California. I've only met her once though, but we decided to have a podcast together. And so we have a podcast called Hungry for More, which pretty much sums everything up that we just talked about, just a health and lifestyle podcast. And I do enjoy doing that.
Oh my God, I absolutely love that. It's so fascinating about how your passions have led you into different areas. And we're going to really take apart your 𝘆archetype type profile next week, because I'm so excited that you're going to be back next week for a coaching session to dive into what's next for you. But one of the things that I also know about you and that we talked about is that you really gravitate to working with people, of caring for others, advising others, coaching others, mentoring. And your journey with Disney is such a unique foundation. And it's so many people dream of working at Disney. And you shared that you were working as a youth activities lead at Aulani, as well as Adventures by Disney Guide. And you've already touched on it, but would you be open to sharing more about how those roles allowed you to tap into your passions and your talents for nurturing, guiding, supporting others, combined with your love for travel?
Yes. I think it's just the relationship with the guests, with the people, having the connection. And that is really what I love the most with, whatever job I have, whatever career. And honestly, specifically guiding, it has brought someone out of me, like someone honestly that I feel like even my closest friends or family don't even get to see much, which is almost sad to say, but it really just, it would light me up to just build relationships with these people and to just, yeah, like I said, I know I'm repeating myself, but having that connection. And the best trips were always the ones where I could fully be myself and like be funny, joke around, be there for them, help them find solutions. A lot of guests have always said like, oh, she's so energetic and so passionate. And like we work really hard. We work 14, 16-hour days, so like weeks at a time with not much time off. And I was totally able to do that because I just enjoyed it so much. So I really just enjoy being that anchor during those days that we spent together with the guests. You know, for some people, it was like the first time overseas or the first time traveling with the company or the first time traveling with their children. Like there were so many firsts, and so many of our guests felt like on, or maybe not at ease all the time in a foreign country. And that's just where I could step in and make them feel comfortable and really truly enjoy and make memories.
It's so special when you get to be at work and be fully yourself. It's something a lot of people are missing, but I hear from working with a lot of different professionals. It's very rare that you can be in a role where you're so yourself that you're even more of yourself, or a part of you can come out that not even the closest people in your life see often. That really speaks volumes about how much the work was aligned with everything you've been looking for.
Yes, no, I definitely agree.
Yeah. And I know the last year has not been easy with the change of moving out of guiding, and hopefully one day you can go back to it because it is something really, really special. But I also know your baby is even more special. And becoming a mother changes so much for us. And I was curious, is how did it, for you becoming a mother, reshape your perspective on your life, your career, and also what fulfillment or success looks like?
You know, and that perspective, or I have to say, it hasn't really changed. And that's actually something that I'm also very proud of, because I always told myself before I became a mom that I don't want to change who I am, or I don't want to fully change my life. Obviously, you need to, you know, make compromises, or you need to adjust for a while, and things change constantly with a baby. But I have to say, I saw it more as that now I just have an additional thing I take care of. And I mean, it probably even goes back to what we've talked about. Is like, I love taking care of people. So of course I love taking care of my own baby. So to me, it never came as another chore. I'm not saying other moms say it, that babies are a chore, but when you really think about it, it is a chore, right? Like, I mean, we have to do so much for our kids. But for me, it was really more, you know, now she's my priority, but she's just part of me. She just comes along. And just because I have someone new in my life, someone so important, that doesn't have to mean I have to change my career. I mean, yes, we mentioned I kind of did, but that wasn't fully voluntarily. It's just not meant to be right now in the situation that I am in right now. But specifically my daughter, or having a baby, or being a mom, it never changed for me in a way that I felt like I couldn't follow my passions. I couldn't do things that I love. And I'm not just talking about work. I'm talking about the everyday living. I'm talking about my hobbies. I'm talking about seeing my friends. I'm talking about staying healthy, staying in shape, self-care, you name it. I think you can only be the best mom if you take care of yourself, if you are truly happy. And yeah, so I think it's been a great year. Yeah. And
It's so beautiful.
yeah.
I love that. Alica, you've created a multifaceted career that ties together so many beautiful aspects of who you are. And I'm wondering how your roles as a wedding officiant, podcaster, and guide allow you to tap into your strengths in guiding and nurturing others.
Yeah, I think I said it before. For me, it's all about the human connection and about being who you truly are, but also making others feel like they can be who they want to be. And I think that's with all my careers I've had, or the podcast. I think it's about being genuine, helping, wanting to actually make a difference. And I know, thinking about the guiding job, you may wonder, like, what difference do you make? But if you talk to any of those guests, they always say it's not actually about the trip, it's about you guys who make the difference. And yeah, I think that's just, it's because I've experienced that in that job specifically, I do want to take that into all my future careers, because it seems like I was successful with that and it just comes naturally. Mm-hmm. And I think I was able to make people feel like they matter. And like I said before, make comfortable. And with the podcasting, for example, it's just my favorite way of using my voice. I'm not very good on social media. I mentioned that before. I hate all the marketing stuff, and I don't actually do much on social media anymore. But podcasting is kind of fun. I feel like I can truly share what my values are, what I think is my truth, and people can take it or leave it, you know. But it's also a way to share my knowledge, share what I know about health or about mindset, all the tools, everything that I've learned with my certification. And maybe that's where like the advising comes in. And I always feel like that's like a tricky word, because I would never feel comfortable telling someone what is the right way. But I feel like with podcasting, you share what you know. And like I said, people can take it or leave it. But I hope it is all helpful, the things that we have shared so far on the podcast.
Oh, I'm very sure they are. You've had some incredible podcast episodes, and highly recommend everyone to subscribe to Hungry for More. It's an amazing podcast, and you and Jessica are so passionate about everything that you talk about. And also love hearing in your answer of how you've had so many different pieces of your career, but there is that common thread that pulls through all of them, that is about the connection with people and how you make the people feel that you work with them. And when you look at your career, it's not a linear path, right? But so many people feel pressured to have that one job or that one linear path to success. Looking back, did you feel like you had to fit in that traditional career mold to be successful? And what advice would you give to someone who's scared of stepping outside of that traditional box?
Oh, yeah. I mean, for the longest time, I thought I would just have to have this one linear path. And it's not like I would sit down in the evening and journal about it or think about, like, oh, what should I do? It's just, I feel like that's what we're taught. I think that's what society, maybe not so much anymore. I think especially since COVID, there are so many more people who, travel and work while they're traveling, or they open their own businesses, or coaching, or being more creative. So I do think it has changed a little bit in the last few years. But overall, I feel like that's just how it's taught, or how, you grow up thinking even looking at our parents, they probably went to school and they're still probably, if they're not retired, doing exactly what they went to school for. And for me, I had kind of a problem with that for about 2 years before I left 𝗀𝗏𝗏, because I knew I wasn't happy anymore. I knew I wanted to leave, and I just was afraid to do it. I didn't really know what my alternative was, which at that time I was already with Adventures by Disney. So for about 6 years, I actually did both. I was working at 𝗀𝗏𝗏 and then also working as an adventure guide. So I did both, which was a lot. And my heart really was with Adventures by Disney. But Adventures by Disney, it wasn't as like secure, safe of a job compared to 𝗀𝗏𝗏. 𝗀𝗏𝗏, I had my set hours. 𝗀𝗏𝗏, I kind of knew my schedule. 𝗀𝗏𝗏 had health insurance. And with my guiding job, I did not have that. I didn't know how many tours I would get per year. I didn't know how much I would make that year. I lost when I finally left, I lost my health insurance for a few years. So it just wasn't a safe route. So for 2 years, I didn't even consider it. But also I wanted to say, since we've been friends for so long, I always wanted to be like you, because it seemed like you had that straight path. And I thought, I was going to be a manager at 𝗀𝗏𝗏, like I would move up too. And the funny thing is, though, that even though I felt like somewhat even jealous maybe that you kept moving up and you had like these amazing company cars and all of that. It felt like I wanted that, but at the same time, I absolutely did not want what you had. And it's so crazy to think, because why do I want what she has, but then don't actually want her job or don't want what she's going through? Because you worked so many hours. There were times where I barely saw you. Yeah. And sometimes you had phases where you were really happy, you had a new position, you were thriving in it. And then there were times where you were just so overworked and burnt out. So I didn't actually want that. And I honestly think I only in the last few years realized, probably once I finally left Aulani, and then a few months in, or maybe a year after that, realized like, it's totally okay to not have a linear path. Like, I'm totally fine. But it took me a while, especially the type of job I have. And that's why I keep referring to what I've done in the past also to a job and not career. Because I feel like people don't think as a tour guide as a career, or, you know, all the things that I have done in the past. I feel like a lot of people don't think, oh, that's a career. That's not what you will do for life. You know, that's maybe a side job. That's maybe a phase. And that's maybe something I still somewhat struggle with. And that's why, like I said, even I refer to it as just a job and not a career. But at the same time, to me, it's more important that I am happy. So who cares if you call it a job or a career? It matters that I'm happy. And one other thing, like for advice, is to listen to yourself. Like I said, I knew I wasn't happy, but I kind of blocked it off. I'm like, well, I'm not happy, but nothing I can do about it. That was not true. Obviously, I did it 2 years later. So there was something I could do about it. I could leave and do what really made me happy sooner. But I think it's really important you listen to yourself, to your body. And what I mean with listen to your body is that your body gives you clues. It really does. And if you've never actually listened to your body, now's a good time to start. Because let's just say, okay, you really need to just pay attention. Like, are you constantly stressed? Do you maybe have migraines? Are you sick often? Do you not sleep well? Are you irritable? Like, so many things. Do you have gut problems? Do you have bathroom problems? Like, there is so many signs, and we often just think like, oh, I ate something wrong, or I shouldn't have eaten that, or it's just the food we put into our bodies, which often it is. But not only, it could literally be you are unhappy and your body is trying to tell you you need a change. And yeah, so if any of those or more things that I even haven't mentioned like resonates, or you feel constantly, then you really need to figure out, okay, why is this? Why do I have so many migraines? Is it because I'm constantly stressed from work? Is it job related? Or is it actually health related and I need to go see a doctor and something else is going on? Is it your environment? It's honestly, your body is constantly talking to yourself, and you have the choice to make a change. And even things like you're constantly lashing out to your partner. You shouldn't be lashing out to your partner, or getting, you know, stressed with your kids or snapping at your kids. We often let it out with the people we love the most, right? Or the people that we're around with the most. But that's also a sign. And I'm not saying it's all job related. It could also be you're just not happy in the relationship or something else is going on, but it could be a sign. If you come home all irritated and you don't even want to see your kids, then that's a sign that you need a change. So yeah, I think that's my advice. Just listen to yourself, listen to your body. And maybe you can learn from me. I don't typically live with regret, but I do regret not leaving sooner, because I could have had that happiness sooner.
Wow. Thank you for sharing that, Alica. And there is so much that came up for me while you were sharing that. And thank you for sharing so openly about the time when I was still in my old role in corporate. And I actually didn't know that there was a part of you who was wanting what I had. And I think there was really two parts of it. Like, right on the outside, you can look at someone's career and be like, they drive a nice company car, they get promoted, they make a good salary, they must have the perfect life. But then you at the same time saw the other side of me where I use the word burnout carefully. I wasn't quite at a burnout stage, but I was deeply unhappy in that work. And yes, it was always the same cycle, right? There was like that promotion dangled in front of me. And then I was excited to get promoted and it was great for a month. And then it just went back to work that I didn't like, and it never got better with any promotion, but I always thought it would. But you really saw both sides of it. Looked great to the outside, but when you really knew, I wasn't happy when I got home from work. I mean, I remember coming over to your place and being really, I didn't enjoy my life outside of work. And that is something that, and when you said that about listening to your body, it's something that I didn't grow up knowing how to do. So even looking back at that now, I don't think I fully realized the impact it had on me and my body. If I had someone back then who would have really been able to point out like all the way it impacts me. Yes, I was stressed, 100%. Yes, I had insomnia. Yes. But it went even deeper than that. And I love that you're someone who picks up on these. I mean, also for you, it took 2 years, right, to make that big change. But you're someone who can listen to your body and act on that.
Yeah, now I can. But back then I did. You just don't know about that. Like, unless you're really into health, you just don't really understand it. You have a symptom and you go to the doctor, and then the doctor doesn't find anything, and then you just live with it. I think that's a very typical story for a lot of people. And I had the same. I forget around what time, but I know it was when I was working at 𝗁. I constantly had night migraines and I constantly had upset stomach. Mm-hmm. For the longest time, I went to see doctors. Nobody could find. Still to this day, I don't know exactly what was wrong. So there is just a chance I wasn't happy. That was, just not happy and stressed. And I think we need to realize that more and more, that how much stress can affect your body and your health.
Yeah, 100% agree on that. Yes. And yeah, it really is true that we don't realize enough the impact it has on us. And also society tells us it's normal, just like you said, right? It's normal to work till you burn out. If something's wrong, you go to a doctor, they might give you a painkiller. But to really think about where is that discomfort coming from, or that misalignment, and then having the courage to make a change is not easy. And I think your story is so great because you also it wasn't like overnight that you woke up and be like, I don't like this job anymore, I leave. It took you 2 years, but over those 2 years, it probably added up more and more where you got to a point where like, no, I need to make a change now.
Yeah, I mean, I actually remember exactly what happened. I know eventually I would have left anyway, because like you said, it just added up. But I remember one of my co-guiding friends, so basically what the arrangement was, when I was still working at 𝗁 and for Adventures by Disney, I was for the most part only able to work for Adventures by Disney in the summer, because I had to still be available which was my main job or my main career at 𝗁. But then, so it was springtime, and one of my co-guiding friends had said, hey, I just got this trip. I really don't want to do it. Do you want it? And I knew for me, in order to take that trip, that would mean I would have to leave. That moment, I just knew. I actually received that email at work. I was like, this is it. I'm taking this trip. It was my favorite trip too. It was Costa Rica. I'm like, it's a no-brainer. I want to do this trip. That second, I walked over to my manager and said, I'm leaving.
Wow.
And that was it.
That's incredibly brave. And I admire you so much for being able to do that.
Yeah. I guess something like that had to happen for me to make that very spontaneous decision. Yeah.
And I see that with a lot of people, where things are slowly building up of, this isn't aligned. This is not what I want to keep doing. I'm not feeling healthy. I'm not the best version that I can be. I'm unhappy. It's impacting you in multiple ways, but it adds up more and more and more and more. But at some point, something happens where you have to make a decision. And I hope that people listening to this episode can realize those steps sooner than later, because the more you let them add up, the harder it becomes to get out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think another thing I want to say is that everything will be okay. It just will. It really will. Yeah, you will figure it out. Opportunities will come up if you're open-minded. It's not like I had more support than others. I was still younger. Did I have even a boyfriend back then? I don't even think so. I wasn't married. I didn't have a backup. Things will fall into place if you let it.
Yeah. Yes. As long as you stay open-minded, things can work out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying you should do this if you have like no savings or anything. Obviously, be smart about it. But I do think there are ways.
Yeah. Yes, I agree with being smart and strategic about it. You would want to think it through. I don't recommend just walking to your manager and quitting your job with no backup plan whatsoever and no savings in the bank. That's might put you in a really bad position. But once you think it through, and then also what we a lot of times forget is factoring in the negative impact a misaligned career has on us. We just see like, okay, if I quit and make a change, there's uncertainty. I don't know how much money I'm going to make. But we forget that if we stay, we're also paying. We're paying with it for our health, with our happiness, and to factor that into that decision making if we want to stay or want to make a change.
Yeah. I think at this point, it is important to me to mention that there was nothing wrong with working at 𝗁𝐼𝐼. 𝗁𝐼𝐼 is an absolutely beautiful place. Yeah. I think what was hard for me was, one, I had to drive pretty much to the other side of the island, which I know people on the mainland think that's not far, but for people who live in Hawaii, that was pretty far.
Yes, it was a huge commute.
Yeah. And then I had to work shifts. So for the longest time, I would work night shifts, which would mean I would never see friends during the week. I sometimes had to work weekends. And that's just part of hotel work. I understand that. But because of my position, that just went on for many, many years. And that just didn't make me happy because it wasn't the job. And right, often it's not the job itself, it's the environment or it's the people. Or in my case, for example, it's just, I didn't have a social life. Yeah. And that's what I missed. I just didn't have the social life because I was working pretty much the opposite schedule of all the people in my life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember. Yeah. And it is a very far commute for people living here. I can make that drive once a year. I could not make it every day.
Yeah, I actually remember for us to see each other, I would meet you during your lunch break and I would come with my dog so we could walk together.
Yes.
And that's what we did.
That's true.
And then Sundays, I typically had Sundays off. So that was great, but that was hard.
It's really hard. Yeah. Working shifts is so hard. It's hard on your health and your body, on your social life. It really impacts everything.
Yeah.
And talking about health and lifestyle, I want to talk more about your podcast. I know it is something you're very passionate about, and I love that so much. Your podcast, Hungry for More, dives into all things health and wellness. Maybe start with sharing what inspired you and Jessica to create that platform, and how does it connect with your love and passion for health and wellness and advising and supporting others?
Yeah, so I think it was my idea to start this podcast, and I thought Jessica was such a good fit because we got along over Zoom, and she was a certified health coach and I was a certified life coach, so it was just perfect. And I know I'm certified as a life coach, but yet I just always into my coaching, I brought in like a lot of health. I'm plant-based for the most part. And so I just thought it was like the perfect combination. And for someone who knows me, they know that I am just a person to live life at its fullest. And I'm being careful about how to formulate this because I think some terms are so overused, like live your best life. You just always see that on social media. But to me, I truly live by that, like live your best life. And that's really what the podcast is about. It's like not settling for less, life is too short, so don't settle for less. That's actually in our intro. And I truly live by that. Sometimes to the extreme where I get grumpy if there was a day where I didn't go to outside and get to do things that I wanted. And I mean, you know me, like sometimes I just actually get like frustrated just because I couldn't live my best life, because I just think, you know, my mom has cancer, for example, like you just never know what's going to happen. So I want people to understand that, like, it is now that you're living, you get to write your own story. Happiness doesn't come to you. You have to create your own happiness, and you have to find happiness within yourself first. And you need to do all the things that bring you joy, that light you up. This is totally up to you. And if you are a person who gets tired at night and just wants to sit on the couch and you think about, oh, you know, it would be so nice to, I don't know, go out again, dance again, do a hobby, but I'm just too tired. I understand that, but that's still up to you. I mean, just ask yourself, how would you feel instead if you did that thing that you really want to do, but you're always too tired? You would feel so much better. And in the end, you would feel more fulfilled. And but basically, I'm kind of getting off topic now. I also think that health truly is the new wealth. Mm-hmm. So for us, how I just said, to truly be happy and truly live your best life, we can only do that if we're healthy. So I think that's the perfect combination for a podcast. It's like, have that mindset, have that motivation, have those tools you need in order to live in the present, to be mindful, to do the things you love, but at the same time, you know, have that health aspect. And there are just so many things people don't know, or even I didn't know. We have amazing guest speakers, like all the toxins in the world right now, and like all the things that might make you sick. And because of those things that make you sick, you are not living your best life. So there's just so many things I want to dive deeper into. And that's where the podcast just comes in. Again, to motivate, inspire people, lifestyle hacks, health, all of that.
Love that so much. And there is no doubt how passionate you are about it. When you talk about it, it just lights up a room. And I love the message to remind people that you really don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. Especially now, we live in very uncertain times. We really don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. But what we can do is to make the most out of our day today that we have. And you're a million times better at that than I am. But I love that you're in my life and keep reminding me of that. And and I want to ask for everyone who's listening in and is inspired by your journey, what's the first step that you would recommend that they take if they want to build a career or a life that's as unique and fulfilling as yours, where they can live their best life?
Follow your heart. And it's really as simple as that. There is no big list of what you need to do or things you need to overthink. We're all overthinkers, right? I mean, I am a total overthinker. It doesn't really do you much good. Just do what you want to do. Don't do what's expected. Do what lights you up. And that will bring you success. If you truly do what you love doing, then that will bring you success, no matter if in a career or in life. And I mean, again, this is back to my podcast or my certification too. It's like, don't wait, do it today, and start even small if you have to. Start small with small things that light you up every single day, and just make it happen. Take action, take inspired action. That's the thing. Take inspired action, meaning, you know, if you take action, but you're not inspired by it, you're going to stop, you're going to fail. So do the things that light you up and you're passionate about, and then you will not stop and you will keep going. You will grow and you will be successful.
I love that so much. That's the perfect place to wrap up this episode, is to follow your heart and take small inspired action, take small steps, but listen to your heart. And I always say, listen to your gut of, it knows it's guiding you, and we sometimes just need to pause and actually listen to it. Ali says, where can our listeners connect with you and learn more about you, your work, and especially your podcast?
Yeah, so you can find me on Instagram, which again, I don't do too much over there, but I Right now, mostly post political things or my baby. It used to be more of a really motivational profile, but yeah, I don't do too much, but I still would
You're
love to
following your
follow.
heart.
Yes, yeah, exactly. So it is constantly changing, right? So, and I basically post and share things that are current in that moment in life right now. So yeah, so that's Alica.Panzer on social media on Instagram, and it's ALICA.PANZER. So important, not a second I in my first name. And email is the same, alica.panzer@gmail.com, even if, since I am still doing it, if you want to get married in Hawaii, I do have wedding decor for you. You can email me here.
And it's
the
beautiful.
Podcast, yeah, the stuff I have actually is really
It's
beautiful and affordable, and, you know, way more sustainable, way better for Earth and your wallet. So yeah, but the podcast, I would absolutely love it if you could support us and click in. We have really great topics, and we have really great guest speakers as well. So that is Hungry for More. So either on social media and Instagram, it's the Hungry for More podcast, or you just go to any of the big podcasts like Apple or Spotify, for example, and just type in Hungry for More, and you will find us.
Perfect. And we'll make sure that all of these are linked in the show notes. So all you need to do is scroll down to the show notes and click on the link, and you will find Alica and the Hungry for More podcast. Thank you so much for being here today. This was an incredible conversation, Alica, and I'm so grateful that you joined me for this today.
Yeah, it was super fun. My baby cooperated. She's still sleeping, so we were able to get it all in. So thank you.
Thank you. Wow, what an incredible conversation. If today's episode reminded you that it's okay to follow your own path, even if it's a little messy, a little non-linear, and a whole lot you, then mission accomplished. I hope that Alica's journey inspired you to listen to your heart, trust your instincts, and take those small but mighty steps toward the life and career that you're craving. And remember, it's never too late to rewrite your story, and the best time to start is right now. And here's a little bonus treat. Alica will be back next week for a special episode where I'll be coaching her live on this podcast. We'll be diving into a career clarity coaching session to help her find what's next for her professionally. So, now that you know her amazing story, you absolutely cannot miss next week's episode. It's going to be inspiring, real, and full of those aha moments that you don't want to miss. And if today's conversation sparked something inside of you and you're ready to get serious about creating a career that lights you up, I'd love to help you. Book a free consultation call with my team. The link is right here in the show notes. Thank you for tuning in, everyone. And that's a wrap for today's episode of Career Clarity Unlocked. If you're feeling stuck in that what's next spiral and are ready to finally break free, let's chat. You can book your free career clarity call where we'll uncover what's really important to you, tackle any obstacles holding you back, and map out your best next step. Schedule your free 30-minute call today on careerbloomcoaching.com. And before you head out, be sure to follow us on Apple Podcasts or Spotify so you never miss an episode. If today's conversation gave you new insights and inspiration, please leave a review. It really helps us reach more amazing listeners like you. And don't forget to share this episode with a friend or on social media. Your support truly means the world. Thanks for hanging out with me, and I'll see you next time.